coffee shop.
Oh, I saw you wanted to do YouTube vlogging when you were younger.
Yeah.
I wanted to tell you I also wanted to growing up, but I was being laughed at school.
I know.
For wanting
it's
to
always
do.
these people.
Yeah, and so I never ended up doing it, and now I'm finally like thinking, okay, I should. That's why I have
should.
this.
Yes, you
vlogging
should.
camera.
You should.
It's Friday and I just finished my call with a really good friend, Evelyn. She's a content creator and her username is Tapioca Press. I'll put it right here. I absolutely love her videos and it's just so nice to have another content creator that I can have a monthly call with and check in on each other, because honestly, sometimes creating content can feel very lonely and isolating. Today my goal is to pack all the orders, and I swear I might be a broken record, but I am so grateful to every single person who made a purchase, big or small. And this time with the paracord craft kits, you guys absolutely came through, because we sold out in like, I think less than a week. And I actually increased the inventory and you guys even took those away too. So I just cannot believe how many of you love the paracord kits, and I think it makes me even happier knowing that I love it so much, and that feeling or that like love for something is also reciprocated by all of you. Yeah, so grateful for that. And I also have a lot of keychains and wrist straps that I need to make and pack as well. And the other thing is that I got my first wholesale order with a content creator called designer Barbiana, and she has a studio called Bodega, and I absolutely love her design, her art style, the way she creates her store. So the fact that she reached out and said she would love to order some zines from me to put into her studio just means the world. And I'm so excited to pack her order up and send things across. That means all the US people can also purchase from her, which makes me so happy. So let's get into it. I recently posted a video of me cross-stitching, and some of you were surprised you can cross-stitch on paper and asked for a tutorial. So here it is. I am not a embroidery professional, so if I'm doing anything wrong, I am sorry. But this is how I cross-stitch, and this is what works for me right now. But if you have any tips, please let me know. I've always loved using gridded paper. I don't know what about it, but it gives me a sense of security. Like, the grid allows me to kind of get some kind of balance or structure in my drawings. Even though I talk a lot about celebrating the lumps and, I don't know, the scrappy bits of your art, I secretly am a perfectionist, and I can't believe it took me this long to figure out that I could create art using square tiles. I begin by drawing my pattern on paper, and then I lay it over the material that I want to cross stitch on. Here I'm using the Paper Republic packaging, and I use this tool called a needle awl to kind of poke holes and create this gridded pattern onto the material that I want to use. I'm thinking about doing a series where I cross stitch on like packaging paper, because I feel like I collect a lot of packaging paper but I never know what to do with it, and cross stitching feels like a really good way of giving texture and dimension to a flat piece of surface. So I threaded the needle through and start from the back, bringing the needle forward. I don't tie a knot in the back, I kind of just let the embroidery threads kind of hold that end piece together, but you can definitely tie a knot if you want to. I just feel like it's not necessary. At one point it stays fixed and it doesn't move around at all. The biggest tip when doing cross stitching is always start on the same corner. So if you're starting from the right corner, continue starting from the right corner or the bottom left corner. So it's always this one diagonal stroke first and then the other diagonal stroke. This creates this very consistent look. Once I'm done, I flip it to the back and I tuck it underneath a few of the threads. This way it feels a little bit more secure and that it doesn't feel loose when you're tying a knot. I usually tie my knot by looping it around the needle and then pulling the needle whilst holding down the thread and the knot so that it ties very closely to the piece of paper, and so yeah, there's not a lot of excess thread hanging around. I'm thinking if I want to turn this journal into a cross stitch book just because it'll be so much fun to add different patterns either I've created or found on the internet. I'm not sure what I'll do, but yeah, I really love cross stitching on paper. I think this is my new thing. Normally I don't trim my letters myself, like I usually get it done at a local print shop, which is also where I get these letters made. I've been a customer of theirs for like several years, but recently they've hired a new person to help them out, which is amazing because they work super hard. But the problem with this new guy is that he's not very diligent. I mean, I don't want to call someone that, but like the last few orders I've made with him, it hasn't been great. Like it's either like he's used the wrong color. For example, this time around he trimmed the letters incorrectly, so it's way too wide and it doesn't fit inside the envelope, and so now I'm having to like manually trim every single one of them, which is kind of annoying because like I have a lot to do today and I didn't think I was going to have to do this and spend like a couple of hours doing this, or I don't know how long, like maybe 2 hours, which is not a big deal, but it is time that's being spent on it. Luckily there's a new episode of The Summer I Turned Pretty, so I get to watch that whilst I'm doing something a little bit more monotonous, and it can be quite therapeutic. You know, if you don't have a lot to do for the day, this can be quite a meditative thing to do. In each of these letters, I really do pour my heart and soul into it. And I'm not just saying that, it sounds a bit cringy, but really my goal with every single letter, to bring a different perspective, to help others feel seen in experiences that perhaps they feel quite alone in. Although social media is such a great platform to kind of do exactly that as well, I often find that Instagram or TikTok, you don't get to really elaborate on the topic or the thing that is on your mind. It's only like a 30-second to like a 1-minute video, so you can't really go in depth with a lot of the things that you want to share. And I think it's really important when sharing that you give context to things. And yeah, like I know writing a letter every 2 months doesn't extend that like context much further, but I feel like there is something that is very personable, and feel like there is a level of empathy when you're reading something that somebody had mailed to you that is already kind of the foundation of all the mindset when you open the letter, versus like if you just get thrown and information about somebody online and you weren't expecting to feel that certain way, so you run with the first feeling that comes to you or the first assumption, and you also let the comments to kind of influence how you feel as well. And so I just think it's such a beautiful, tangible way of communicating, and it really brings me back to like the primary school years or even like my high school years where you would write letters to your friend quite frequently. I think those days sometimes feels like long gone, and I'm really glad that many of us online are still valuing this tangible way of communicating. In each letter I try to explore topics that are very relevant to my own experiences and if those who have similar upbringing to me. You know, for me, I am a second generation immigrant in Australia and now living abroad in Berlin as an expat. So since very, very early on, I never felt like I belonged in Australia, but because of how I look, but I also didn't feel like I belonged in Hong Kong because I can't speak or read. Oh no, I can speak, but I can't read or write Cantonese. And I feel like, you know, people in Hong Kong can really tell that I'm not from Hong Kong as well because of the way I behave and my habits as well. I talk a lot about that and talk a lot about like being far away from my family. And of course, sometimes I share about, you know, my small business journey, my social media journey, kind of just like whatever that feels relevant to me right now and perhaps maybe relevant for my readers as well. And I often get really inspired by the letters that you guys send me because it shows me that like, oh, this is something that a lot of people are going through right now. So I want to also talk about it and share my perspective on it too. Yeah.